Hello everyone, welcome back to this video series, The Art of Rapid Language Learning. And in this video, we're going to talk about the magical 2.5%. Okay, so in order to speak a language well, you need to know thousands and thousands of words. The thing is that in order to just, get by in a language, hold basic conversations, knowing a few hundred words is often enough. And there is a principle, it's called the Pareto principle, and it says that 80% of the outcome actually come from only 20% of the work. Now, you can also apply this principle in language learning, but in language learning the ratio is often more like 95 to 2.5%, which means that in a language like Spanish, for example, native speakers use 95% of all the Spanish words. Use only 2.5% of all the words in Spanish, 95% of the time. So once we start learning a new language, we only focus on this magical 2.5% in the beginning. Okay, now most traditional language learning materials of courses, they always want to, they want to have fancy dialogues, they want to have nice stories, and then often they add all these words that you really don't need in the beginning. And that's a pity, because you might not want to miss out on those words. You try to learn them, but then in reality you're not going to use them. Sometimes there's also grammar features that you don't need in the beginning, so it can be very overwhelming in the beginning. So our tip is, if you just start out, make sure that you become really good at filtering. Okay, so you can use any resource that you want, but as it's always good to use multiple resources, but just make sure that you focus on the things that you think are really important in the beginning. So only focus on that 2.5%. Don't focus on the difficult words that you don't need. Don't focus on the grammar rules that you don't need in the beginning. Only focus on this 2.5%. Okay, now you might think, but how can you understand native speakers, or how can you read newspapers or books if you only know a few hundred words? And the reality is that you won't be able to do that. Being able to read books or understand native speakers when they're talking to each other, this is really one of the highest levels that you can reach in a foreign language. And as we said earlier on in this video series, it's definitely possible to get to a conversational level in a matter of months, but mastery often takes years. And so if you don't understand, if you think that you can, you're making progress, you can speak that new language, but you can't really understand native speakers, and this is perfectly normal. Like Lucas and I, between the two of us, we have learned over 20 languages, but there is only a few languages in which we can really understand almost everything. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. Now the next question that you might have is, okay, but how do you know which words are important for you? Well, most of the time, you can just look for pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, and then you have like the most important verbs like to be, to work, to want, to see, to give, to have. Like, these are the words that you need over and over again. And then of course also basic grammar, such as the word order, verb conjugations, and then you have time indicators such as now, today, tomorrow, and some basic nouns. This is what you should focus on. And if you've learned foreign languages in the past, or if you already speak a few languages well, then it might be easier for you to recognize these words that you really need in the beginning. But as a complete beginner, then just look for these kind of words. Okay, so this is the first principle. Only focus on what you really need. You need to become good at filtering. Only focus on the 2.5%, at least in the beginning, just to get to a conversational level. And once you get there, you can actually, improve your language skills more naturally by just using the language, maybe reading simple dialogues. That was it for this video. We will see you in the next video, and in the next video we're going to talk about the power of combinations. What do we mean by that? Well, you will find out in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.